Let me tell you something about humans. They look fragile. They look soft. They look like the kind of species that would cry if you sneezed too hard in their direction. We were so wrong. My name is Vrek Toramin, and I serve as the third communications officer aboard the Galactic Survey vessel. Persistent question. Yes, that is really the name of our ship. Our captain has a sense of humor that nobody asked for. For the past 6 rotations, we have been stationed at Outpost 17, a research facility orbiting a gas giant so unremarkable that nobody bothered giving it a proper name. We just call it Big Orange. The outpost itself is fine, boring enough to make you want to walk out an airlock just to feel something. That changed when she arrived. The human. Her name was Kira Okonkwo. She stood about 5'7" in their measurement system, with dark brown skin, close-cropped hair and eyes that always looked like they were laughing at a joke nobody else understood. She was assigned to our station as a cultural exchange liaison, which is a fancy way of saying the Galactic Council wanted to see if humans could play nice with other species without accidentally starting a war. The Council was concerned. We all were. Humans had only been in the galactic community for about 30 standard cycles, and their reputation was, shall we say, complicated. They came from a planet that was trying to kill them, constantly. Their world had extreme temperatures, natural disasters, predators, venomous creatures, poisonous plants, and bacteria that could liquefy your internal organs in 12 hours. And somehow, some way, humans not only survived on this nightmare world, but they thrived. They built civilizations. They invented art and music and philosophy while everything around them was busy trying to eat them. It was terrifying if you thought about it too hard. But Kira seemed nice, friendly. She smiled a lot and asked questions about our cultures and laughed at jokes that were not particularly funny. She learned the names of everyone on the station within 2 days. She remembered our dietary restrictions and personal preferences. She was, by all appearances, perfectly harmless, which is why Grunak decided to prank her. Grunak was our senior engineering technician. He was a Vorlaxian, which meant he was about 8 feet tall, covered in thick grey hide, and possessed 4 arms that could bend at angles that made my stomach turn. He was also, and I say this with genuine affection, a complete idiot. Grunak had this theory. He believed that humans were not actually dangerous. He thought all the stories were exaggerated. Propaganda from species who had lost wars to them and needed an excuse. He pointed to Kira as evidence. Look at her, he would say. She is soft and small and she apologizes when she bumps into furniture. This is not a dangerous creature. I tried to tell him. I really did. I explained that humans apologize to furniture because they have something called empathy that extends even to inanimate objects. I explained that their softness was an evolutionary trade-off for unprecedented endurance and adaptability. I explained that their ancestors used to chase prey across open plains for hours until the animal literally collapsed from exhaustion. Grunak did not listen. So one evening, during our communal meal period, Grunak decided to test the human. He had obtained a bottle of Sythian Fire Extract. Now if you are not familiar with Sythian Fire Extract, let me give you some context. It is a beverage consumed in very small quantities by certain species known for their robust digestive systems. A single drop can cause severe chemical burns to most organic tissue. It is used in industrial applications. As a cleaning solvent, there are warning labels on the bottle in 14 different languages. Grunak poured a full glass of this liquid and presented it to Kira with a completely straight face. He told her it was a traditional Vorlaxian welcome drink. He said it was customary for new crew members to consume it as a sign of respect. He said it would be deeply offensive if she refused. I wanted to stop him. I truly did. But I was also curious. The scientific part of my brain, the part that had gotten me this position in the first place, wanted to see what would happen. Kira looked at the glass. It was bubbling. Slightly. There was a faint hissing sound coming from the liquid, like it was angry at the container holding it. She sniffed it. I waited for her to recoil, to gag, to politely decline and make some excuse about human dietary restrictions. Instead, she smiled. It smells spicy, she said. and then she drank it. Not a sip, not a taste. She picked up that glass and she drank the entire thing in one continuous motion, her throat moving as she swallowed what should have been enough caustic material to dissolve her esophagus, stomach and most of her small intestine. The mess hall went silent. Gronek's forearms went limp at his sides. His mouth hung open so wide I could see all 3 rows of his teeth. Kira set the empty glass down on the table. She wiped her lips with the back of her hand. She looked at Gronek with those laughing eyes. "That was good," she said. "A little sweet for my taste, but good. Do you have any more?" I felt my primary heart stop for a moment. Then my secondary heart. For one terrifying second I thought I was going to die right there from cardiac failure induced by pure shock. Gronek made a sound. It was not a word. It was not even a proper vocalization. It was just a noise that emerged from somewhere deep in his chest. A sound of complete and utter existential confusion. "How?" he managed to say. "How are you not dead?" Kira tilted her head. "Why would I be dead?" "That was Sythian Fire Extract," he said. His voice was very small now. "It dissolves organic tissue. It is used to clean starship hulls." Kira blinked. She looked at the empty glass. She looked back at Gronek. "Oh," she said. She sounded almost disappointed. "Is that all? My grandmother used to make hot sauce that was worse than this. She called it the pepper of regret, because you would regret it for 3 days afterward." She smiled again. That smile that I was beginning to realize was not friendly at all. It was the smile of a creature that had evolved on a planet where even the plants were trying to kill you, and had learned to laugh about it. "Seriously though," she continued, "do you have any more? I am actually a little thirsty." Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Somewhere in the back of the mess hall, I heard Lieutenant Tamira whimper. She was a Florian, a plant-based species known for their calm demeanor and steady nerves. She was now gripping the edge of her table so hard that her stem fingers were leaving marks in the metal. Kira looked around the room. She took in our frozen faces, our wide eyes, our various expressions of horror and disbelief. She seemed to find this genuinely amusing. "You guys are really easy to scare," she observed. "Back home we drink stuff like this at parties. We call it a good time." I found my voice. I did not know I was looking for it, but there it was, climbing up my throat and forcing itself out of my mouth. "Your species," I said carefully, "drinks industrial cleaning solvents at parties." Kira laughed. "Not cleaning solvents," she said, "but stuff that would probably kill most other species." "Yeah, we have these peppers that literally make you hallucinate. We eat those for fun. We have a fish that is so poisonous you need a special license to prepare it. And people pay a lot of money to eat it, because it tingles on their tongue. We ferment fruit until it becomes a liquid that impairs our judgment and coordination, and we drink that at almost every social gathering." She shrugged. "We are built different, I guess." That was when I realized something important. The stories about humans were not exaggerated. They were not propaganda. If anything, they were understated. Because the stories focused on human soldiers and human warriors, and human fighters, and those were scary enough, but the stories did not mention the regular humans. The ones who ate poison for fun, the ones who laughed at things that should kill them. Gronek had not moved. He was still standing there with his mouth open, all 4 arms hanging useless. I think he was having some kind of crisis, an existential one. The kind where you have to reevaluate everything you thought you knew about the galaxy and your place in it. Kira stood up from the table. She stretched her arms above her head, and I could see the muscles moving under her soft skin. Muscles that could apparently digest industrial solvents without any apparent discomfort. "Well," she said, "this has been fun. I am going to go for a run. Anyone want to join me?" Nobody volunteered. She did not seem offended. She just smiled that smile again and walked out of the mess hall, leaving behind a room full of traumatized aliens and one very empty glass. After she left, nobody spoke for a long time. Finally, Gronek sat down. He sat down very slowly, like he was worried any sudden movement would cause the universe to collapse. He put his head in his lower pair of hands. "I have made a terrible mistake," he said. "Yes, I agreed. You have. She drank it. His voice was muffled. She drank all of it. And she asked for more. Yes. Why did she ask for more? Because humans are insane, I said. And we are stuck on this station with one of them for the next 10 rotations. Gronak lifted his head. His eyes were very large. 10 rotations? I nodded. He put his head back down. In the corner, Lieutenant Tamira finally released the table. Her stem fingers had left permanent grooves in the metal surface. She looked at me. I am requesting a transfer, she said. I understood completely. But I also knew that a transfer would not save us. Because if humans could drink industrial solvents and ask for more, then there was nowhere in the galaxy that was truly safe. They were everywhere now. And they were built different. 3 days passed after the incident with the Sythian Fire Extract. 3 days of quiet tension. 3 days of crew members finding excuses to leave rooms when Kira entered them. 3 days of Gronak hiding in the engineering bay and refusing to make eye contact with anyone. But here is the thing about humans that nobody warned us about. They notice things. They pay attention, and when they realize something is wrong, they try to fix it. Kira cornered me in the observation lounge on the 4th day. I was watching Big Orange rotate slowly in the viewport, trying to find some peace in its mindless, gaseous existence. Then I heard footsteps behind me, and my primary heart rate doubled. "Vrek," she said. "Can we talk?" I considered my options. I could run, but humans are persistent predators. She would catch me eventually. I could pretend I did not hear her, but she was standing 3 feet away. I could fake a medical emergency. But our ship's physician was a Mendari who could detect lies through changes in body chemistry. "Of course," I said. "What would you like to discuss?" She sat down next to me. Close, too close. I could feel the heat radiating off her body. Humans run hot. Their internal temperature is high enough to give most species a fever. Another charming feature of their Deathworld biology. "Everyone is avoiding me," she said. "Ever since that drink thing." I did not know how to respond to that. "Gronak ran away from me this morning," she continued. "Literally ran. He has 4 arms and he used all of them to climb a wall to get away from me. It was actually impressive from an athletic standpoint, but also kind of hurtful. I chose my words carefully. The crew is simply adjusting." "To what?" "To you." Kira frowned. "What about me needs adjusting to?" I looked at her. This soft, small creature, who had consumed enough caustic material to dissolve a Krethian battlecruiser's hull plating and then complained that it was too sweet. I wondered if she genuinely did not understand. She did not understand. "Kira," I said slowly, "you drank Sythian Fire Extract." "Yeah, you mentioned that. It was not bad. It should have killed you." She shrugged. "But it did not. That is precisely the problem." She stared at me for a long moment. Then something shifted in her expression. A realization. I watched it move across her face like a shadow. "Oh?" she said quietly. "You guys are scared of me." I did not deny it. She leaned back in her chair. She looked out at Big Orange. That massive, boring ball of gas that suddenly seemed very appealing compared to this conversation. "I am not going to hurt anyone," she said. "I know humans have a reputation, but I am just a cultural liaison. I studied xenoanthropology. I write reports about communication patterns and social customs. The most dangerous thing I have ever done is give myself a paper cut opening an envelope." I believed her. That was the problem. I believed that she had no intention of harming anyone on this station. But intentions did not matter when you were dealing with a species that could shrug off industrial solvents. What would happen if she got angry? What would happen if she felt threatened? What would happen if she decided that one of us was an enemy? "Can I show you something?" she asked. Every instinct I had screamed no. But I was a scientist. Curiosity was my curse. "Yes," I said. She pulled out her personal datapad. She scrolled through some files and then turned the screen toward me. It showed an image of a small creature with orange and black stripes. "This is called a house cat," she said. "They are common pets on Earth." I studied the image. The creature was small. It had large eyes and pointed ears. It looked soft. "It is aesthetically pleasing," I offered. Kira smiled. It is also an apex predator. House cats have a hunting success rate of about 32%. That is higher than lions, higher than wolves, higher than great white sharks. They kill billions of small animals every year. Billions. I felt my scales tighten. And we keep them in our homes, she continued. We let them sleep in our beds, we pet them, and we feed them, and we love them, even though they are tiny murder machines. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to understand something about humans. She put the datapad away. We evolved alongside predators. We were prey before we were hunters. We know what it is like to be small and scared and surrounded by things that want to eat you. She looked at me directly. Her eyes were not laughing now. They were serious. I know I am scary to you, she said. I know that humans seem dangerous and unpredictable, and maybe a little insane. But we are not monsters, Rek. We are just survivors, and survivors do not hurt people who are not trying to hurt them. I wanted to believe her. I really did. Then she ruined it. Also, she added, that fire extract stuff really was not that bad. We have a drink called Everclear that is way worse. It is literally just alcohol, 95%. People drink it at college parties. Why? I asked. My voice came out as a whisper. She grinned. Because it is fun. I excused myself shortly after that. I needed to lie down. I needed to process. I needed to seriously reconsider every life choice that had led me to this station. But something changed after that conversation. I started watching Kira more closely. Not out of fear. Well, not entirely out of fear. Out of curiosity. Scientific curiosity. I wanted to understand her species. I wanted to understand how they worked. And here is what I learned. Humans are strange. They form attachments quickly and deeply. Within 2 weeks, Kira knew everyone's favorite foods and personal histories and family situations. She remembered birthdays. She asked about sick relatives. She noticed when someone seemed sad and she would sit with them without saying anything, just being present. They called this behavior friendship, but it looked like something else to me. It looked like pack bonding. Like the way certain predator species form social groups for hunting and protection. The difference was that humans would pack bond with anything. Other humans, obviously, but also animals, plants, machines. Abstract concepts. I once saw Kira talking to the coffee dispenser in the mess hall, telling it that it was doing a great job and she appreciated its service. The coffee dispenser was not sentient, it was not even particularly advanced, it was just a machine that heated water and mixed it with ground beans. Kira thanked it anyway. This was the other thing about humans that nobody warned us about. They care, aggressively, persistently. They will attach themselves to you and they will worry about you and they will remember things about you that you have forgotten about yourself. It is, honestly, kind of exhausting. But also, nice. I did not realize how nice, until the incident with the hull breach. It happened on day 23 of Kira's assignment. A micrometeorite punctured the outer hull of Section 7. Not a large breach, not immediately life-threatening, but serious enough that it needed to be sealed quickly before the atmospheric processes were overwhelmed. The problem was that Section 7 housed our secondary power coupling, the same power coupling that was currently running the atmospheric processes for half the station. If we shut it down to do repairs, we would lose life support for 60 crew members. Our chief engineer, a Tellarian named Brox, came up with a solution. Someone would need to go outside and seal the breach manually while the power stayed on. Simple enough. Except for one complication. The breach was located directly below an external radiation vent. Whoever went out there would be exposed to significant amounts of gamma radiation. Enough to cause serious cellular damage in most species. Enough to be fatal within a few days. Brox called for volunteers. Nobody raised their hand. I will go, Kira said. Everyone looked at her. You will die, Brox said flatly. The radiation levels are lethal. Kira shook her head. Not for humans. We have DNA repair mechanisms. We can handle a lot more radiation than most species. I will probably get a bad sunburn, but I will live. Brock stared at her. He did not believe her. I pulled up my datapad. I searched the human biology files that I had been studying obsessively for the past 3 weeks. I found the section on radiation tolerance. She is correct, I said. My voice sounded strange to me. Humans can survive radiation exposures that would be fatal to Tellarians. Their cells have multiple redundant repair mechanisms. They even use controlled radiation exposure as a medical treatment for certain diseases. Brox looked at me, then at Kira, then back at me. They use radiation as medicine, he repeated. Yes. On purpose. Yes. He was quiet for a long moment. I think he was having the same crisis that Gronak had experienced with the fire extract. That moment when you realize that everything you know about biology and evolution and the limits of organic life is wrong. Okay, he said finally. Go. Kira went. She was outside for 47 minutes. I watched her on the external cameras, this small figure in a pressure suit, sealing a hull breach while gamma radiation bombarded her body. She worked quickly and efficiently. She did not complain. She did not hesitate. When she came back inside, she pulled off her helmet and smiled at us. All done, she said. The seal should hold until we can do a proper repair. Then she looked at her arm. The skin was red, irritated, already starting to blister. Ow, she said mildly. That does sting a little. I stared at her. This creature who had just absorbed enough radiation to kill me 3 times over, and her only complaint was that it stung a little. Gronak was standing in the corner of the airlock bay. He had come to watch, I think, to see if the human would really do it. You saved us, he said. His voice was very quiet. Kira looked at him. She smiled, not the laughing smile she usually wore, something softer. That is what crew does, she said. Gronak did not say anything else, but later that evening, I saw him in the mess hall. He was sitting at Kira's table, talking to her, laughing with her. She had pack-bonded him. She had pack-bonded all of us. That is the thing about humans that the stories never mention. Yes, they are terrifying. Yes, they can drink poison and survive radiation and chase prey until it collapses from exhaustion. Yes, they come from a world that makes most other planets look like resort destinations. But they are also kind, loyal, protective. They will thank your coffee dispenser. They will remember your birthday. They will walk into a radiation field to save people they have only known for 23 days. And they will ask for more. More challenges, more connections, more life. They are built different. Thank the stars they are on our side.